Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. Today's video will be my October wrap up. I read a total of 5 books in October, which isn't the best, but it honestly could have been worse. I ended up getting a cat in the middle of October and that took up a lot of my time. I will show her in a vlog next week. I think I'm gonna post that video next Wednesday, so you will meet my little cat, but she is very clingy and she constantly cries when she wants attention, so that has taken up a lot of my time and I feel like it was very hard to fit in reading. I also abandoned my reading journal for October. I just could not keep up with it. Also, I was kind of like in this weird mood where like I wanted to read, but I also didn't, and I didn't know what I wanted to read, and I had so many video plans for October, but the month just really got away from me. I feel like it flew by and I just couldn't keep up with everything, to be honest. But again, 5 books is better than 0, so I'm gonna get into the wrap up. The first book that I read was Lovelight Farms by B.K. Borison. This I gave 3 out of 5 stars. In order to save her Christmas tree farm, Stella enters a contest to bring publicity and a $100,000 cash prize. However, while filling out the application, Stella writes that she owns a farm with her boyfriend, only she has no boyfriend, but her best friend Luca is back in town. Overall, I liked this book. I will say I wasn't a huge fan of the writing. The writing felt a little overdone and a little, I don't want to say try hard, but it just felt like there was a lot of words. Like it was very wordy. Stella and Luca were great characters. I really liked their friendship and I loved how they were both secretly into each other, but they never acted on it until now, obviously. I love the small town and the Christmas vibes. I thought it was a very festive, cute book. One thing I didn't love about this book is that the author would have this scene between these 2 characters and there was dialogue going on, and then a topic would be brought up and the character would reminisce on that memory or that topic, and it would take you like out of the scene into kind of like some inner dialogue and some inner memory relating to the character. And I just feel like that happened way too often in this book and it kind of took me away from the actual scene that was happening. And I understand that was to build backstory for the character or give explanation for how they're feeling about something, but I just feel like it took me out of the scene. That was kind of an element that I didn't enjoy from this book, and I think that's why I didn't love the writing. I do want to continue this series though. I am invested in the characters and the little town, so I definitely want to read the next 2 books for sure. Then I read Accidentally Amy by Lynn Painter, which I gave 3 out of 5 stars. This is kind of where I abandoned my reading journal, so I don't have my own summary to read from, unfortunately. It essentially just follows Izzy, who takes a Starbucks drink that isn't hers. She plays it off like she is Amy, and she ends up spilling her drink on this guy who assumes her name is Amy now, and they kind of have like a little bit of a meet cute, and this guy ends up being her new boss. It's Grumpy Sunshine, Friends to Lovers. I liked it, but it was kind of forgettable. Blake and Izzy were great characters and I really loved how they built this friendship and their relationship slowly progressed. I did like how Blake was super into Izzy, like from the beginning, and he was willing to risk his job and everything for her, which I loved, but I don't know, it just didn't really stand out to me. I didn't fully love how this was in 3rd person, and I don't know, it just wasn't anything super special. Then I read Going Too Far by Abby Glines. This is the 14th book in the Rosemary Beach series, and this I gave 3 out of 5 stars. Dean Finley is tired of the rock star life and looking to finally settle down. Brielle is a young single mom trying to give the best for her son working at a college when she meets Dean and everything changes for her. This is obviously about Rush's dad And I'm so glad we finally got his story. I feel like it has been in the making for years. I really liked this, but I definitely had a couple of issues with it, mainly that there was a sex scene between Dean and not our female character, Brielle, which I didn't want to read about, to be honest. Didn't care. I thought that was really unnecessary to include that, especially on page. Like, it could have been insinuated, but she actually like had a descriptive sex scene for Dean and some other woman, which I was just like, why? We got some Rush and Blair crumbs in here, which I loved. I love them so much. They are still one of my favorite book couples of all time, and it was so great to see a little bit of them in this book and them being in love and happy and having kids and all of that. There's something that happens in this book that is like very shocking, and I honestly did not see it coming. It completely shocked me, which I feel like is probably why I gave this book 3 stars. Like, I definitely would have rated it lower if it weren't for what happened. Overall, I just didn't feel like this book was as unique or special as her other books. So if it weren't for the like later plot in this book, I definitely would have rated it lower. I feel like that really saved the book. But this book was very engaging and entertaining. I couldn't stop reading it. Like, I did find it very addicting to read, which is what I love about Abby's books. I just feel like the characters kind of lacked depth and they were very one-dimensional. I also feel like the romance could have been a little bit better. It kind of lacked a little bit in that sense for me too. Then I read The Kiss Curse by Erin Sterling. This is the second book in the Ex-Hex series. This I gave 4 out of 5 stars. Gwen Jones is currently running a successful witchcraft shop, and she's starting to mentor some younger witches in town. But Wells Penhallow comes to town and opens up his own shop, and so they have a little bit of a rivalry going on. And suddenly Gwen's magical powers start fading a little bit, so there's kind of like this mystery element going on. I really enjoyed this. I don't know if I enjoyed it more than the first book. I feel like I did. Gwen and Wells were both very interesting characters, and I like how they had this hate to love situation going on and they couldn't stay away from each other. I love the small town vibes in here. I really love this whole little town. I just think it's so fun and interesting. Not that there's a plot twist in here, but I didn't see the ending coming. Like, I did not assume anything. I was very curious and confused as to why Gwen was losing her magic, but I thought that was a very interesting plot, I guess. Honestly, I think my only complaint about this book is that it is written in third person, which I'm not a fan of, and I feel like it makes it harder for me to connect to the characters and the romance and the story. But other than that, I really liked it, and I am so glad I read this in October for spooky season. And the last book I read in October was Icebreaker by Hannah Grace. This I gave 3 out of 5 stars. This follows, I think it's Anastasia, because her nickname is Stas, I think. So Anastasia is a figure skater, and her dream has been to be on the Olympic Team USA, but something ends up happening where she now has to share a rink with the college hockey team, and she kind of butts heads a little bit with the captain, Nate. I just realized I have not hauled this yet because this was the only book I bought in October. I liked this, but I feel like not a lot happened in this book, which normally I would love because I love being with characters and just seeing them day to day and just seeing them being very domestic and having like a normal life. I love books like that. I think that's why I love Mariana Zapata, for example. But there was something that just lacked in this book, and I don't know if it's because there wasn't much of a plot or if I just didn't fully love the characters. I loved Nate and Anastasia, but I wasn't fully obsessed with them. And I was hoping that this would be like one of my new favorite books because I'd heard such good things about it. I also will say there are so many characters in this book, and at times I was kind of confused on who was who. I also hated Anastasia's skating partner, Aaron. He was the absolute worst, and I feel like she gave him way too many chances. And I get that she, you know, wanted her dream of making the Olympics come true, and that's why she kept being with Aaron. But he annoyed the shit out of me, and I was so happy that he got what he deserved in the end. Nate and Stas were very cute together, but I just didn't love this book as much as I'd hoped I would. But I can see myself rereading this in a couple years and maybe liking it more. This book might have been right book, wrong time though. I don't know. So those were all 5 books that I read in October. Let me know if you have read any of the books that I talked about and what you think about them, or let me know what you read in October. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure to give this video a like, subscribe, follow me on all my other social media, and I will see you in my next one. Bye.